Hiding a marriage and a baby? Brace yourself, you're about to get a rare look into the TV host Tamron Hall's marriage. He just kept showing up wherever she was. That's how Stephen Greener went from Tamron Hall's friend to her boyfriend to her husband. She told the story of how they met while co-hosting Live with Kelly and Ryan in 2019.
We knew each other for about 4 years, and he would run into me and he kept saying, "What are the odds?" And I'm like, "Well, because you're stalking me."
Hall then continued with a story about how they became a couple. Then 2 years ago, I was at a pool in Los Angeles. He sat down next to me on the chaise lounge. All of a sudden, he asked me out for pizza. According to Hall, Greener wasted no time in popping the question, telling her,
"Let's get married." I'm like, "Okay."
But it wasn't like the couple went from that chaise lounge to the altar, despite it sounding like that. In actuality, they started living together 3 weeks after that poolside meeting, which Hall had to keep from her mother, Mary Newton. That's because Hall said that her mom has old-school Southern values. It's also why Hall told her mother that Greener was just visiting whenever her mother came to town. In the era when it's commonplace for celebrities to share all kinds of personal information on social media, some may be taken aback when one chooses to be totally private. Tamron Hall is a celeb who keeps much of her personal life under wraps because she kept her marriage to Steve Greener a total secret. Plus, there was one other little detail that she hid from the public, that she and Greener were expecting. Hall shared the major news in 2 Instagram posts in March of 2019. One post was a video that showed her dancing to the song Baby Shark right before revealing a baby bump. The announcement that she tied the knot came in a separate Instagram message, which displayed 2 more baby bump photos. Hall also shared a pic of her and Greener on a boat together. Hall wrote in one of the posts, "I've wanted to share this news for many months, and now finally my doctor has said I am in a safe place at 32 weeks to share my joy with y'all. My husband Steven and I are beyond excited." So, not only was Tamron Hall super private about being married before announcing it, she maintained that down-low approach afterward. It's easy to tell because she doesn't post many pictures of her husband, Stephen Greener, on social media. For example, in the first 5 months of 2021, she only shared about 3 couple photos, and one of them was for Valentine's Day. And you can forget about the talk show host sharing videos of her and Greener being all lovey-dovey, because she simply doesn't do it. Hall doesn't post a bunch of romantic messages to her husband on social media either, which other celebs tend to do on occasion. One time, the mother of one spoke about the importance of shielding her marriage from the public, while explaining that she never hid Greener. Hall told People in 2019, "I think today people mistake privacy for secrecy. People say he's my secret husband, but we were going everywhere together. It was just a private thing I needed to protect." One certainly doesn't have to be a relationship expert to know that being married can be harder than trigonometry. So when waters get choppy, some couples remember their wedding vows to help steer them back on course, while others may choose to go on a quick getaway. But according to Good Housekeeping, Tamron Hall and Stephen Greener use a promise that they made to each other in Anguilla to stay solid as a couple. It was on their very first vacation together, and the vow has to do with always staying united while never wronging each other. Plus, Hall said Greener has never forgotten that promise, and it's helped them tremendously in their marriage. Based on numbers gathered for the 2020 United States Census, 33.8 million people in the U.S. identify as multicultural, which is up from 9 million just 10 years prior. Tamron Hall's son Moses will grow up in a multicultural household, something that she and Stephen Greener want to make a priority. Hall told People, "My husband is Jewish, so we had a bris for my son here at the house, and my son is going to Texas to have a christening or a confirmation at my mom's Southern Baptist church. My husband and I just combined our life experience, and we want to teach him tradition." In 2021, Hall spoke to Allure about how Moses will be raised, and instilling pride in him is a big piece of the puzzle. Hall told the outlet, "My son is African American and Jewish, and he has a big, curly, reddish head of hair that I want him to love and embrace. I want him to be proud of his Black heritage and his Jewish heritage." Tamron Hall is incredibly low-key when it comes to her marriage, but one could say that her husband Stephen Greener is even more private. Want proof? Go ahead and do a quick Google search on Greener gushing about Hall or his family, and you won't find much. Then try searching for his social media posts. Again, you'll come up empty because he's not on Instagram or Twitter, unless he has a burner account. He didn't even use social media to celebrate being named the head of music talent management at Primary Wave, a music publishing company. But Greener did open up about his marriage to Hall in at least one interview. Greener spoke to People in 2019, and in the same interview, he also talked about being a new dad. Greener explained to the outlet, Tamron is one of the most authentic, loving, honest, caring people I've ever known. My favorite part of marriage and fatherhood so far is realizing every day I am exactly where I was always meant to be, with my family. I am home. Part of the reason Tamron Hall might have kept her marriage to Stephen Greener hidden from the public for a while is because she wasn't ready to hear from critics, which she admitted in an interview. Obviously, not everyone is thrilled about interracial and interfaith marriages, and she had no interest in hearing those people weigh in. In 2019, the New York City transplant was asked if there was a concern about people coming down on her marriage, and she answered yes. Hall told the YBF, "There was a worry in the sense of I didn't want him ridiculed or hurt, and I didn't want anyone feeling badly about themselves." She said something similar about her husband to Parents magazine the following year, that she was concerned about people picking him apart. Hall told the magazine, "As an interracial, interfaith couple, we knew the world would throw darts." If one were to heed the words of author and relationship expert Andrea Sirtash, they would believe that Tamron Hall and Stephen Greener will have some unique challenges in their marriage, mainly because she's a celebrity and he's not. Sirtash told The Observer, "Celebrities can successfully date ordinary people as long as they're both aware they will be publicly scrutinized, and that their lives may be dictated by the celebrity's appearance and production schedule. It's easy for resentments to emerge unless expectations on both sides are clearly set." Based on what Hall told Good Housekeeping in 2019, she's fully aware that her celebrity status can affect her marriage negatively. Moreover, she suggested that Greener maintains a much-needed balance of supporting her career and keeping a strong sense of self. Hall told Good Housekeeping, "For him, he wants my show to make it, but he wants our marriage to work, and he knows part of that is maintaining this foundation, and him being comfortable with who he is and not pushed into someone he isn't." Just because Tamron Hall seems to love running her talk show, it doesn't mean that she's okay with being away from her son Moses for long stretches of time. She admitted as much while speaking to actor Gabrielle Union for Oprah Daily. During that conversation, Hall spoke of a time when she and Stephen Greener were away on vacation, and Greener offered to take care of their son while she worked. Hall recalled, "Recently, my husband and I were at this little beach house with Moses for a weekend, and he said, 'Maybe I'll stay for the week with the baby and the nanny while you go back to work.' My heart and lungs were like, 'That's a terrible idea.'" Hall went on to add, "Of course, my husband is fully capable. He's Moses' dad, but I'm only human, and the idea of leaving my son for a week while I went off to work felt truly terrible. So our whole family packed it up and went back to the city together." Hall has talked about trying to balance family and career more than once. For instance, during a 2019 appearance on Good Morning America, Hall said that she had to work toward not feeling guilty about her career and hectic schedule.
I know that, friends and family are the most important thing, and I just try to balance those things and put my priorities in the right place.
During an interview with People, Tamron Hall said that she and Stephen Greener had their son's name picked out early, but the name wasn't just snatched out of thin air or used because it's fairly unique in the 21st century. On the contrary, they felt the name Moses was a wonderful way to celebrate their respective faiths. Hall told People, "My husband is Jewish, I'm Christian, and Moses was the only prophet recognized by all 7 religions." Then, in a separate conversation on the Tamron Hall Show while joking around with Blackish star Anthony Anderson, Hall said that her son was named after Isaac Hayes. Hall insisted that Hayes was the inspiration for her son's name since the late singer named his 1971 album Black Moses.
He is Black Moses He is named after Isaac Hayes.
She was obviously kidding around, which made Anderson tease her about Moses' name a bit, but Hall said she'd allow the light ribbing since the actor and her husband go way back.